I know we're technically already a couple weeks in, but welcome to foaling season. I've already discussed how I don't plan on doing a live foaling video, so I'm not actually going to show the process itself for various reasons. But I do still want to walk you all through the process, along with show you the items that I have in my foaling kit, and just how we use them and things of that nature. I do have a mare that is potentially going to foal. So I do have a feeling a lot of this is unfortunately going to be voiceover. So I apologize if you prefer that or you don't prefer that. But obviously when I'm working with them, I'm trying to keep everything quiet for the sake of them. So it's going to be what it has to be. It might be a smidge chaotic, but that's half the fun. Also, before we fully jump in, I do always like to say, because there's always someone who comes out of the woodworks and it's like, oh, that's not how so-and-so used to do back in the day, or that's not how so-and-so does it, that's not how we do it. Listen, there's so many thousands of us who do foaling stuff. I always say, if it works for you and your mare, and it's a safe, happy, healthy thing, keep on going. Like, you found the way that works best for you all, keep working with it. For us, what we do is pretty standard, and, it's always worked well. We've tried a few things on and off, like, oh, maybe we like this better, no, we don't, or, oh, but let's try this, and yeah, things of that nature. My big thing is always, we made the decision to breed these mares, or the owner made the decision to breed these mares, and they, expect us to do what's best for them. And our whole goal is to make sure that the mares and the babies have the easiest process, during the whole foaling experience, that they're being well taken care of, and that, it's as quick and painless as possible. So, hopefully this lovely lady will lay down soonish. She's kind of been walking and things of that nature, but in the meantime, I guess I'm going to walk you through the beginning stages of it all, and hopefully we can start kicking it off here soon. A few important things to note before we fully jump in. Horses are pregnant for 11 months. However, their due date is not like a rock solid thing you have to stress about. It's not necessarily uncommon for a mare to go a little bit early or a little late. In fact, I've had quite a few mares that have hit that year mark or even a little past. It is heavily recommended against inducing a mare, as it can actually create even more problems, so it's typically only done if there's like a medical emergency. So I will say, in all the years we've ever been foaling mares, we have never had to induce a mare. And no good vet would just casually recommend one. Anyway, for the most part, our ladies are outside 24/7, but when they're about a month away from their foaling date, we will start bringing them in at night. They'll be outside during the day, but they come inside at night, just to help keep a little closer track of them. We're looking for physical changes, such as watching the milk production, seeing if they're starting to relax behind, things of that nature. We're also keeping an eye out for any attitude changes or routine changes that they may have. Some people may use some other devices such as pH testing or foal alerts to help alert them to when a mare is actually going to foal. But truth is, nothing will beat having someone in real life in person watching your mares. It's much easier to catch something a test might miss and do something about it rather quickly instead of having to wait and find out in the morning. Every mare is a little different, but when it is time for them to have their baby, you'll typically see them get uncomfortable. They might walk, sweat, pace, dig, look at their stomach, kind of squat, stretch, just be uncomfortable in general. When I'm seeing these signs, I go ahead and start bringing my supplies in front of their stall. Typically at this stage, I've already braided their tail. I tend to do that when I think they're about a day or two out from foaling, but if I haven't already done it, then I'll go ahead and do it during this time. I'll remove the feed and water buckets to give us a little bit of extra room so we don't accidentally knock into them. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of pick their stall, make sure that there's no poop or anything in it, and that they have a quiet, clean place to work. Then I'm going to shut the lights off, leave them alone, and wait for them to break water. This is also around the time I'll call for backup, just so we have an extra pair of hands, just in case. Some mares may break water standing or laying down. Once they lay down, I'll actually wrap up their braided tail with some brown gauze to keep it clean and out of the way. Then we'll also grab a long sleeve so that we can actually put our arm inside of mom and just do a quick check to see how baby's positioned. It's really important to go ahead and do this once mom lays down and is kind of settled rather than waiting. Because unfortunately, if you wait and kind of just let your mare do whatever for a while and there's no progress being made, and then you check later to find that there's maybe an issue, it may be too late at that point. Essentially, when you stick your arm in, you should be greeted with the front 2 feet and the little nose. If you only feel a head or just one leg, or you feel hind legs, then you got a little bit of a problem. Some things are easy that you can fix on the farm, and some things require an emergency ride to the vet. We're very fortunate that our vet is technicality only like 8 minutes away. However, at 3 a.m. in an emergency, we can definitely get there a lot sooner. But for a normal birth, if the position is all good, then we kind of just sit, wait for mama to push. This for us is kind of a very as needed situation. I know a lot of people who do not jump in at all and assist any of their mares. There are some risks associated for just sitting back and watching. We typically kind of play it on like an as needed scale. So I'm still going to remain in the stall sitting behind mom. Once enough of the bag is presentable, I will actually rip it open so that way once baby starts coming out, it's not going to suffer for a lack of oxygen if it's trying to breathe already. And then, for example, we've had 4 babies born this week so far. The first 2 were so easy peasy. I ripped open the bag and I just had to sit back and watch. Mamas did a great job. In just a few pushes, baby was out. The other 2 were also very standard, easy deliveries. Though with those 2 babies, we did grab the front feet, not to pull, but just to keep tension for mama, because mamas were kind of not really making a lot of progress. And so they just needed a little bit of help keeping tension to make sure baby wasn't going to keep slipping back in. So all 4 of those totally normal, easy births didn't really have to do much assisting. But if you remember the gigantic baby we had last week, even though it was presented correctly and everything, we did end up having to assist a lot. Simply because the size of the foal, the mare was getting too tired. The shoulders were a little bit hung up in mom too, and so we just needed to give her some assistance, and that sucker was big. Even I was sore after we pulled out that sucker. So I could only imagine how mom would have felt if you just let her try to do all that by herself. But once baby's out, we're actually going to sit him up sternly and start rubbing our hand down its face to get any fluid out of its nose. Some places will also go ahead and put an oxygen mask on just for a little bit, kind of as a just in case, better safe than sorry type thing. And also bring in a towel to help stimulate and dry baby. We always let mom relax, but once mom starts asking for baby, we'll actually move the baby and bring the baby in front of mom so that she can also stimulate baby and bond with baby. Around this time, we're also going to give mom some pain medication because she just pushed a mini hurt out. She deserves all the pain medication she wants. I will also dip baby's umbilical in some iodine and give baby an enema. This is also when we're going to check the gender. And also while mom is still laying down, we're going to go ahead and tie up her placenta a bit so it's not hanging and getting in the way of her later. Once all that happens, we completely leave them alone. We'll stand off to the side, get our pictures, but we completely just let them be. And then when mama stands up, I will go back in and start cleaning the stall so they have a new fresh place to lay in. And after that, I kind of only assist as an as needed thing. We loosely follow the 1-2-3 rule, so baby should be up within an hour, nursing within 2, and mom's placenta should drop by 3. I rarely have a placenta that hangs on to the 3rd hour. If it does, typically it's a retained placenta, so it's time to involve the vet. I'm there to assist either mom or baby as baby learns how to stand and nurse. Some first-time moms might need a little bit of assistance just getting used to some things, or a baby might need a little bit of assistance to stand, just the first couple times at least. I try not to interfere too much, but as soon as baby is standing and nursing, I completely leave them be for the rest of the night. Only walking by and checking on them to make sure that everything is going as it's supposed to. So I'm going to be real honest, I filmed both parts yesterday, and then when I went back and was like looking at it, I was like, the second half feels a little rough, because you can tell my brain went from like, there is a plot to chaos. So we're going to hopefully refilm it. And it'll be a little smoother, and it's a great thing we had another kiddo. So if you see random clips from different births, this is why. But obviously, I needed 2 hands for a couple parts of the delivery and things of that nature, and like taking care of mom baby. So I'm gonna actually go back and show you the items of what I was talking about when I was talking about the actual delivery itself, because I also need to really restock my box. She has not had that done in a hot minute. In all reality, my box has my main emergency stuff, not really emergency stuff, but just what I need right then and there. A lot of other stuff is kind of in my temporary tack room. We're working on putting shelving in this. So I have like extra gloves, syringes. This is where I have extra enemas. This is where I have my jar of iodine, things of that nature. it's just a whole bunch of extra things that I may potentially need. But let's actually talk about my box and my setup outside of my box that I put out right in front of the stall. First things first, I have rubber bands to braid up the tail, as well as brown gauze that I'm going to use to put up the tail to keep it clean and out of the way. We also have, these are the long sleeves that we use that they will literally come like all the way up to here. So if we need to go deep diving when we check the baby's position, or if we need to do some rearranging and we got to go in deep, these will protect mama and us. I also got short gloves, so when I don't have to deep dive, just to keep clean. I also have got a whole bunch of tubes of lube. This is a spray that we have been putting on some of the mares, like on their boobs, on their stifles, kind of where baby is going to be searching for suckling. This just kind of helps kills any bacteria and things of that nature that baby might be susceptible to this first few hours. It's just a wound and skin cleaner is all it is. It's not really anything super special. Is there anything else? Yes. This is my one thing that I understand some people don't do it, and I really kind of don't understand why. This is twine, baling twine, that literally anyone who has farm animals or has a farm, you probably have baling twine somewhere along the way, right? So when a mare gives birth, obviously there's the placenta, right? And so it's not uncommon that they're going to stand up before the placenta is delivered itself. And so a lot of times the placenta will kind of drag behind the mare and it will get everywhere. And it's not uncommon for it to get dirty, get other things dirty, or if a mare steps on it and pulls it, that does not feel good. It's painful. And when if they do accidentally step on it, they can potentially tear it, and it's just a whole thing. And actually, if you leave a piece of placenta in the mare on accident, and you don't have a vet flush it out, and you don't have a vet come flush it out and take care of it and give her antibiotics, then your mare can get an infection and die. So what we tend to do is and I'm actually going to put a picture in the thing. So like, heads up, there's going to be a placenta. If you don't want to see it, I will let you know when it's gone. But basically we just kind of tie up this bottom half of the placenta, and just to keep it out of the way from her to not step on it. Your picture's gone, by the way. So you are free to look. So yeah, it just kind of stays out of the way, and it just makes it easier and cleaner and a little bit safer. I mean, I don't understand why more people don't do it, but anyway. Oh, I also have a bunch of scissors in here. Just random scissors. Not random. They have a purpose for emergencies. I talked about my enemas. Here are my enemas. We'll give this to baby to make sure all systems are a go and working as they should. And then that's kind of everything. There's a few other like random stuff in here that I don't really use. Like, there's a flashlight. There's a Sharpie pen. There's extra blanket straps that go in between your legs. I don't know. This box is supposed to be my foaling box, and it sometimes just becomes my junk drawer. And I always say, I'm going to clean it and organize it and make it the prettiest foaling box you've ever seen. But then every time we foal, it just becomes chaotic again. So I know. So that's the whole thing. But let me show you what's outside of my box too. Yeah, because this is just kind of bare essentials, right? We got an oxygen tank and an oxygen mask. Some people will kind of use these sparingly. They'll only use it maybe if a baby's giving them a sign that something is a potential issue, or they'll only do it during a difficult birth. Other people will use it just for 5 minutes after every birth. We kind of do the latter just because it's better safe than sorry. And honestly, 5 minutes of oxygen, it's not going to kill them. If anything, it's going to make them happy, bright, and alert. Isn't that right? She's like, sure, absolutely. I had to flip the camera again because I'm dumb. I don't know what happened on TikTok a couple weeks ago, but I guess there was a lot of cause of concern about what these things are called. These are pulling straps. These are pulling straps. Now, these are definitely something that are kind of an as-needed thing. The last 2 babies we've had did not need to use them whatsoever, right? They were easy peasy, awesome. My Instagram out of my personal mare, We used them and we were still struggling. So really, these kind of just give you a little bit better grip and allow you to adjust your positioning, and just gives you a little more traction, a little more, what's the word that I'm searching for? Oh, I'll think of it later, probably, not really. Anyway, not leverage. Anyway, so we just take these end straps, wrap it around baby. Here's baby's foot, here's baby's ankle. It's typically gonna go right here around the pasterns. We just make sure to double it so that it doesn't slip off really easily. What? We'll put it on both front feet, and then that way we are able to kind of just not pull. We're not out here going yank, yank, yank. You're just doing a nice, steady, even pressure as mom is contracting. So, and a lot of times that's just all it is. Like, you really don't have to actually do anything. Sometimes you don't even need them. But some of the big kids, the big problem kids, or if you have a mare that's having some difficulties, these are really handy. Very, very handy, actually. Isn't that right? My big kid is currently glaring at me. He really wants attention. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Other random stuff that I have that I always keep forgetting about. There's my bleach spray gun. Basically, it's just filled with bleach and water, and we'll spray down the stalls before and after foaling. That feed bag is actually where we keep our placenta so that it's not everywhere, because when it is everywhere, stuff like that happens. Joy. Other random things, I talked about babies not being able to nurse in the last video. Here's muzzles in case we need that. This is our oh shit rope. It has many uses. One of the things foaling wise that we use it for is a mandolin squeeze. I'm gonna put up a photo really quick just to show you kind of what it looks like. But basically we will use this squeeze if we have a foal that is acting kind of like a dummy foal. So a foal that maybe didn't get oxygen, was deprived of oxygen directly after birth, things of that nature. Just kind of needs, we'll basically just wrap it around and simulate being birthed again, kind of is what it does. It kind of just resets their brain a little bit, helps them out. There are other medical things we will do in that type of case, but that does typically help some of them at least get a little bit of a jump start before the vet gets here. We still haven't, she goes, I'm figuring out legs. Mom's a little overprotective, so I'm trying not to, I'm just leaving them be. Room. So this is where I have all my extra towels, obviously. I'm not going to wake her up. In here, we have plasmas and we have extra colostrum for the babies in case we need it. Now, obviously, Mama just birthed a mini them, so we're going to help them out and give them a little bit of pain medication. So that's what we're going to use the syringe for. This tube itself is actually what I'll put the iodine in so that I can dip the umbilical. And then this little cap, I'll actually use it to collect colostrum so that I can feed it through this little reader. And I'm just gonna, check to see how good the colostrum is. Is it worth collecting, or is it something that, it's fine for baby, but it's not worth collecting, or do I need to give baby extra colostrum? If I do get to collect, I have pints that I can collect. And then, of course, if I got a bottle feed baby, I got bottles. So I think I feel like that covers a lot of my basics. In reality, everything's kind of spread out. I just know where everything is in case it's needed. Kind of, sort of. I kind of don't want to keep everything in the box just because my box does get really messy quite often when we use it. Most of the time, it's pretty dark in here. And so it's just one of those things. It's also not only me foaling, right? Like, there's other people who do it, and sometimes they don't restock stuff right. And that just annoys me. So I just kind of keep everything in a place that everyone knows where it is to find easily. And hopefully, I'm staring at we have blankets, right? We have baby blankets when it does get cold. You're welcome. Good night. Anyway, scattered brain. I don't know if this was any better than the first time I did this, but I guess it feels better. My brain at yesterday's point was just whoosh. But yeah, that's just kind of the basics of the foaling process. I know I can't really show you the actual shebang. I know there's a ton of other people who do For me, it's just, you know, I actually have a job to do and I need both hands just in case, just on standby. And there's also not like a good spot in these stalls to like just casually put a phone like in a corner or up high for you all to see anything, which is part of the other problem. But it is what it is. It's fine. Then also that's just kind of what's in my foaling kit. It's just kind of nice and simple. I have a few people who've actually been a little surprised, because I was thinking about this earlier tonight, that like our mares are so willing to let us assist or be in the stall at the same time as them, because they've said before, like, oh, we've foaled mares before. They're like, get the hell out of the stall. I really think that with me being so quiet all the time and just kind of, you know, just calm energy, quiet, not going in and out and annoying them all the time, not speaking so loudly out in the barn aisle 24/7. I really do think that even the mares that ship in and they're only here for like 2 weeks before, they kind of know, hey, it's cool. Like the vibes are good, because they'll even me sometimes if we have like a first time mama and she's broke water already and she can't find a place to lay down. She keeps walking. There'll be times if I go sit in a corner in the stall, that they'll actually come and sit next, come and sit next to me and lay their head in our lap and finally lay down where we kind of need them to. And like it does not work for every single one of them, but I have said like it happens quite often enough where it's worked. Where I'm like, I'll just go sit in the stall and she's gonna lay down right next to me, and it works phenomenally. So there went my pen. So I really do think that actually just I don't know. I just feel like as long as we keep putting out the good quiet vibes, our mares are going to be like, heck yeah, you can come help us do whatever you need to do. And also, like, they know. The ones who we've had for so long, they know. They're only going to be here briefly for a little bit, and then they'll let us be. So, but really, that's it kind of for the most part. I know it feels kind of like a lot, because there's a lot happening in kind of a short period of time. But really, I don't know. The whole, from the time they break water to the time they're standing, it's about an hour and a half. So it's just ish, give or take. But yeah, that's just kind of it in general. I kind of don't really know how to wrap this up, I guess. Anyway, we had a lot of babies born this week, so I was hoping to put this out on Wednesday, and that just went out the window. So you will have a ton of new faces to see in the next video to see how this week went. So that will be exciting. I have a feeling with how the last 2 weeks have been, that we've been so pretty steady, that we should have a week where it kind of mellows out. We don't really have anything. Could be wrong, but it's just, that's typically how it goes. We'll be really busy for 2-3 weeks, and then there'll be like a week where we have nothing. And so I'm going to try, and I've talked about doing other terminology videos too, like just basic terminology videos. I'm hoping to get some of those wrapped up during the quiet week, if we have them. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of it. If you have any more questions, comments, whatever, about the foaling process or any tools and tricks and things of that nature, I can hopefully answer those in the comments. Oh, I already know that they're going to be brought up. Foal alerts. I mentioned that some people use foal alerts. We do not use them. They're not necessarily, they're great when they work, is kind of the thing. They're not great when they don't work, which stuff happens. They don't always work. So it's kind of it's just better to have someone here in person, keeping an eye, not just on the mares before and after they foal, or for the foaling process. There's a lot of stuff that can happen at night, just in general. So it's really nice to be able to have someone here just keeping an eye on things in general, you know? I don't know. I think this about covers it. Again, I don't know how to wrap this up other than the fact I have a whole bunch of new faces for you all to say hello to in the next video. So till next time.